Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to another episode of Down to Earth Astronomy. Today we'll be talking a bit about the reputation mechanics. For those of you who don't know, in the game we have different factions. We have the Federation, we have the Empire, and we have the Alliance. And then of course we have the Independent. But the Independent is not really a faction, it's more like, just as the name suggests, a bunch of organizations that is not really aligned with each other. It's just a bunch of independent organizations. But anyway, at least at the moment, for the Federation and the Empire, you can gain ranks. And a lot of people are doing these ranks to get the ship I'm in right now, the Imperial Clipper. But also, it allows you to get permits for different systems. As you can see, because I've done missions for the Empire, right now I have permits for 2 of the Empire special systems out of the 3 there is. And I've actually been trying for a few weeks now to get the last permit. But again, as you can see here, I am my rank with Empire is Vice Count, and you need to be Count, which is the next rank. I just can't seem to get it. I kind of feel like I hit a brick wall after I got the Vice Count. So I thought I would share my my observations, what I have experienced when running missions, and some tips and tricks to what you can do. So initially I started out finding a good system with a lot of Empire systems around it, with stations close to the star, and just started running missions. I focused on all the hauling and the smuggling missions, especially the one where you move some piece of data. Does not take up cargo hold, it gives you a medium reputation boost, and so does the smuggling missions. And of course, whenever I came by a donation missions, either for giving them credits or giving them some material or getting on some of the stations that I was visiting frequently, I would take that as well. And I quickly got up to a rank where I could get the Imperial Clipper. But after some time, I stopped getting reputations, and what you will see when you run missions, you will see from the different factions down here. These are the local factions in the system I'm in right now. You see that I'm neutral, unfriendly with the Drug Empire because I've been shooting them a lot. And I'm allied with the Federation Corporation. And you will see small, either red arrows pointing down or blue arrows pointing upwards, depending on your actions. If you do something negative towards that local faction, you will get a red arrow pointing down, and you'll get a blue arrow if you do something that they like. And what I noticed is at some point I keep still getting the blue positive arrows for the local faction, but my Federation faction didn't change. So naturally, as people say on the forum as well, you need to move system. So I did. And what I noticed is, at the moment I entered a new system that I've never been in before, all the Empire local factions, I got a blue arrow up. What this suggests is that the way that your local faction standing is computed in the actual game is that you have an Empire faction and you get either a fraction or the same standing as you have with Empire to all the local factions. But this is only updated when you enter a system where this faction is actually present. This is, of course, just my speculations. I must stress that, but I think it's pretty. I think it's pretty solid, because I noticed something odd. At some point, I found a system that only handed out donation missions. So I thought, great, I can just sit at the station and just do donation missions, just give them money all day. And I did, and pretty quickly I got to the point where, again, I didn't get any faction standing for handing in donations. So I moved on, and as soon as I entered a new station, a new system, and docked up, I saw all the Empire local faction. I gained a huge boost to them, and suddenly there was an ascension mission. So this suggests that just by entering a system, you gain a huge boost to the factions for the different corporations. Now, I also expect that some of the corporations are the same. For instance, often you will see a system maybe called system name Empire, or something like that, or any subdivision, or PLC, for instance. There's a corporation in Empire called PLC. So often you will see a system, a corporation, system corporation called the system name and then PLC. and you can have a lot of these in the different systems. But I expect that this is actually this counts towards the same corporation. It just has different subdivisions for each system. So I'm not sure this is going to help you do missions for all the PLC corporations in all the different systems. Again, not sure of this. This is just my speculations. Now, the odd thing, what makes me feel like I hit a brick wall, is the missions are not very see-through. When I take a missions for an empire, say I have a standard move some piece of information from one station to another. I take it from an empire corporation, from an empire station, and move it to another empire station. I would get a positive reputation boost to the faction that I actually did the mission for, but some of the other local factions suddenly don't like that I did that, and I get a negative, and overall this will give me a negative boost towards the empire. And this is a general problem, that even though I go into to the bulletin board and say, great, I found a mission for an empire faction, sometimes I will still get a negative rep for handing it in. I haven't figured out the system behind this yet. I'm still working on it, but at the moment I've just been running around trying to find a place where I can get a positive boost to my empire reputation. If it's because that I need to get to a certain level before I actually begin to get positive boosts, I don't know. But again, as we talked about with the standing before, what happens right now is because my empire standing has been dropping lately because of all this weird stuff happening with the missions. When I enter new systems, when I move around, the system the local reputation is updated as I expect, and since my standing and reputation has dropped, so does my local or my all over empire faction. So I expect that there is some issues with the mission system as it stands right now. They are talking about updating it. There's coming something in the close quarter combat update, which is the 1.4 update, which should be here within a few, maybe a month or two, I guess. But I'm not sure they're giving it the full overhaul. They're just adding long-range missions and stuff like that. The main overhaul is going to come in the Horizon patch, and I already have a video up on that. So if you want more information on the Horizon update, you should go ahead and read that. But as far as I can read, they're going to do a mission overhaul. So at the moment, I've just decided, screw it. I'm just gonna stay here, and I'm going to make some money and just kill some local pirates. Try not to hurt my empire standing too much, because I really just want that last mission. If you have any suggestions, what are your experiences? Drop them down in the comment below, and remember to like, subscribe to the channel. I really look forward to hearing your observations with when you've been doing missions. This is Down to Earth Astronomy. Thanks a lot for watching. Have a good one.